Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of Big Brother 17. My name's Jacob Harple, and joining with me tonight is the ecstatic, erratic Aaron Nunley. How are you doing tonight, Aaron?
I'm doing great. I'm, perfect and lovable and everything. How are you?
I'm okay. And sitting next to you is the always fantastic, always fabulous Keith Guerrero. How are you doing tonight, Keith?
I'm doing great. I was supposed to be introduced before Aaron. It's in my contract.
I know. I'm sorry. It was a BB.
You're gonna get sued.
It was a BBBasics takeover. It was a twist. All right, so we have just finished the third episode of Big Brother 17. We've got the first ever nomination ceremony. We got the first ever Battle of the Block. Quite a lot of stuff to talk about. Keith, what did you think of the episode overall? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? What do you think of everything so far?
I think everything is good. That's all I have to say.
Such insight. I love it.
I did too.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. First thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about Jeff and Jackie a little bit, because we have this conversation between them where they're kind of like, hey, we should try and make people not think we're really, really close. Probably shouldn't have had that conversation while they were lying in the bed, but you know what? And they're only human. Aaron, how do you feel about these two people in the game right now, and just kind of what are your feelings on Jeff and Jackie?
I know I said it last episode, but I don't really care for Jeff. He doesn't really do anything for me except tell us how to do the competition or what's going on in the house, what the producers are telling him to say. Jackie is way more interesting. So far, she's the stronger competitor and just, I don't know, more likable. Like I feel like she's just going to be more insightful and more in the actual game than Jeff. I do think that the sooner Jeff goes, the better for Jackie, and I'm totally for that because Jeff doesn't do anything for me. So,
Keith, we didn't really hear anything from anyone about any concern about the Amazing Race couple. Do you think that Jeff and Jackie are going to be able to make it through this game without being a target?
No. I do think that the target's going to be there, but week one, it's like, why waste the first week on somebody who can protect me a couple weeks down the line, because they do have that target over them. So I think it's good for them not being immediate targets. Yeah, I think that they're playing their cards right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too down on either one of them. It was nice to see Jeff at least kind of playing the game in a way. He knows that he needs to try and separate himself from Jackie. Whether or not he's doing a good job at that, it's hard to say. Since they weren't really brought up as a target during the episode, you got to think they're doing something right. But I don't know. I'm actually interested to see how this relationship forms and plays out. They aren't the only couple. We were introduced to another couple, a little bit of Shell Town.
I'll never do that again.
I'm getting evicted, aren't I?
Yeah.
And what do you think about Shell Town?
Oh man, if they aren't trying the hardest to be liked, I don't know what's going on. First off, the shell, for the staple of their alliance.
Who gave them those shells? That's what I want to know. Where did they get those shells from?
Well, why does the shell? I need a backstory for a shell. Because, they're obviously using Chilltown and just changing it with shell. Chilltown was for a reason. Their room was cold. Shell, you were given shells and now it's shell. And then the music they play for them, it's so annoying. I just don't like it. And the bro code, everything about their alliance, I just don't like. And I don't like Jason in the first place. He just is really annoying. So, no, thumbs down.
Not a fan of Shell Town. Keith, how do you feel about this dynamic duo?
I was just really disappointed in Austin. I expected more from him. I expected, Jace to be the douchey bro code type of player with Rado for Colorado. But I didn't expect it from Austin. Like, why would you I think you're a pretty insightful person, Austin, and for you to just like go on a sinking ship, full-fledged bomb squad member, like, I don't know why you do that for yourself.
Though, he did talk about how Jace was going to be the bigger target because he's has a loud mouth and all that stuff. So I like Austin for saying that. I just don't understand why he would put that target on his back because, I mean, say they both do wind up on the block together. What if Jace were to win the veto, like in a situation where he survives this week? What if Jace were to win the veto? Then you're screwed over, all because you wanted to have an alliance with somebody who was a big target, but that target is good at competition. So.
Exactly. And, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up because we did get that confessional from Austin saying, hey, this is great. I really like Jason. Obviously he's a bigger target. And we've seen that strategy several times before, like trying to find the bigger target to hide behind. But in a way, it's almost backfiring. What's the difference between hiding behind, maybe, like, let's say an Amanda or Rachel, than hiding behind a Jace, Aaron?
How's he's going? No. I don't know.
Is it almost kind of like because maybe he's a big target for different reasons, so it's odds are he's probably going to be targeted a lot faster?
I don't know. When you say Amanda and you say Rachel, everybody sees that. Right? Everybody is hiding behind that same person, or that one common person. Austin's the only one that's trying to hide behind Jace. I don't see anyone else really trying to do that. Everybody else is trying to get rid of him. So, I don't know. It's just a little different.
And each person has to play like a different type of strategy. And Austin's not the type of person that should play a hide behind someone type of game. He should integrate with the majority. He's pretty threatening by himself, his own physical stature, that I don't think he can really hide behind anybody else. So he needs to have a good social game, not isolate himself with the bro code Jace, and just find himself in a good majority position. We saw Devon and Audrey go to the HOH room immediately and form an alliance. Why didn't Austin go up and do the same thing? Like, Austin needs to do something similar to that because of his threat level in the game.
Definitely. I want to talk a little bit about Steve because, oh man, we got a lot of Steve today. Really, the first encounter that I really want to talk about is the conversation that he has with Devon. Keith, what did you think about these two talking, and do you think that something went wrong, or what was your overall reaction?
I just love socially awkward people in social situations. And yeah, I guess it was interesting. Aaron, do you have anything?
Well, I was like recapping this a little with Keith, and he didn't even like notice this. Like, I don't know if you remember the whole conversation or whatever. He didn't remember the whole "I love you" part because I mentioned it being extremely awkward. I don't know what goes in his head, but I remember saying that he was going to be more interesting than like a Becky because of how awkward he is, and that just came true. It's cute for Devon to have that little side deal because I mean they haven't said anything. Like he's already like, I'll do whatever you want me to. Do you need anything? You want me to kill somebody for you? Like,
I'll hide the body.
And then her saying, no, thank you, and him saying, I love you too. Like it doesn't even. I don't understand what situation she would have said, no, I love you. Like,
would you have liked Devon to show a little more interest? Because it seems like she didn't really either get what he was trying to say or just didn't really seem that down for it.
To me, it looked like she just laughed at it because she's just like, he's a mess type of deal. I think she is cool with him. Like, I think she might make an alliance with him or some type of deal with him. She's just like trying to look out for, obviously number one, but like also have other routes out because I mean he could win HOH. Everybody can win HOH. So right. I think it was good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Let's talk about the BB takeover twist that we experienced. So Vanessa and Devon, who the two people that sat out of the HOH competition, it was revealed that not only would they be safe and immune for the week, but they would also get to choose one person each. Now, we definitely kind of saw this take a really interesting turn. Vanessa decided to almost hold one-on-one interviews with people, and Davon pretty much to, you know, maybe a lesser extent. Aaron, how do you feel about the approach that Vanessa and Davon, the approach that they went with to try and determine who to pick? Did they kind of put too much thought into it? Did they make too much of a spectacle? What did you think about that?
Well, first off, it depends on your perspective, because to Vanessa and Davon, all the house guests are going to judge whoever they pick. Although with week one, I don't really think anyone would. I mean, maybe down the line, they'd be like, hey, these two people are still in the house, and they pick each other, like maybe that type of thing. But right now, they kind of like were thinking long and hard about it, which is okay. I liked both of their approaches. They were kind of similar, kind of different. Vanessa went and was telling almost everybody the same exact story. Like, I think you're safe, we're good, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, Davon was saying the same thing. Like, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Both of them want to get something out of it. I think Davon might have gotten a little bit more out of it than Vanessa, because Austin, I don't trust that he'd, right now at least, pick Vanessa over Jay, so.
Yeah. Keith, do you feel like Vanessa maybe came a little bit too strong with the way she handled almost like these one-on-one interviews with everyone?
Yeah, like if anybody could compare notes, which they would after these one-on-one consultations with poker player Vanessa, they'd find that she's saying the exact same thing to every single person. And that's what makes me nervous with Vanessa's one-on-one meetings. Because I can imagine having that conversation with Austin, and then that's it, you know? But like, she had it with every single person, then she chose Austin. So it's like, why would you bring everybody in for like a rushed, like, I know they had 30 minutes. They had 30 minutes to make their decision, but like, what I wouldn't, as Vanessa, I wouldn't say anything from my end. I would only ask from you, like, do you want this? And tell me, if so, then tell me why. And then I'll be like, thank you, go on about your way. But she was saying stuff that she would do for them too. And if people were to compare notes and figure out that Vanessa said the exact same thing, like, oh, she's gonna look after me, how can she look after all 14 of us? Then that could come across very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Davon, she was way more chill about it, way more laissez-faire, talk with people one-on-ones, just kind of floated throughout the rooms, which I thought was a way better approach. Mentality-wise, Davon was looking for like a deal or some sort of safety, whereas Vanessa was trying to find someone that rounded out her strengths. So I think that Vanessa's approach was better than Davon's, because like, really, anybody you give it to is going to give you safety the following week. Like, you don't even have to say it. It's kind of unspoken. So I think that Davon's approach was a little bit worse, or not approach, but like her what she wanted from it. Whereas Vanessa, she was way more tactical, more strategic.
Let's talk about the whole Shelly-Davon interaction, because this was the most interesting thing I thought about this, you know, this twist or decision. So Shelly seemed to be pretty, I guess, insulted that Davon didn't want to choose either her or Audrey to protect. And I thought a lot about this decision. And, you know, from looking online, it seems like a lot of people have mixed feelings about it. I've seen some people that agree with Shelly, some people that agree with Davon. Aaron, where are you on this topic? Is there a certain side that you're leaning towards on kind of who was right, who was wrong?
I don't know, because it's kind of like what I said earlier. It depends on your perspective. If you think that the house is going to judge you for this decision, then no, don't pick people that you actually are close with. But Shelly doesn't think that the house is going to, you know, look that closely. So I mean, they're right for what they're thinking, but you don't know how the house is, so I can't say whether it's a good, which one is better than the other. I mean, they both have strong, valid points.
Okay. So there's not really this person was kind of in the wrong, or this person should have done that. You both had reasonable concerns, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so.
Keith, how do you feel about that?
I think Shelly reacted poorly. I think that her reaction is saying, you know, Davon, why aren't you picking me or Audrey? It's blasphemous. Like, if you really want this alliance to work, nobody's going to care, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, Davon has, you know, one life vest that she could throw out. And honestly, like, if I were in Davon's position, I'd be like, I want to work with people that are good at this game. But like, if you can't survive week 1, then no, I don't want to work with you, Shelly. So I'm going to give this to somebody else, and that's because I want this alliance to work. And so if you can't survive week 1 without this life vest, then maybe I should just reevaluate wanting to work with you, period. But Shelly took it as an insult. She's like, well, nobody's going to really care or put 2 and 2 together when all you have in this house is time to like think and marinate on people's decisions. Why did Davon pick Shelly? Yada, yada, yada. So I think Shelly was way too like over the top with her reaction to Davon not picking her or Audrey. And if I were in Davon's position, if that alliance was really like my core, my group that I wanted to move forward with, I wouldn't pick them for that safety.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, my immediate reaction is I was definitely on Davon's side, and I thought that Shelly was taking it a little bit too harsh. Not so much as just like, you know, if you really like, kind of like what you said, if you really need safety this early, then what kind of game are you playing? But my biggest concern is you're in a 3-person alliance essentially with Audrey and Shelly. So if you give one of them immunity, how's the other one supposed to feel, you know? So almost in a way it's kind of unfair to choose between the two and instead just pick someone else so you can kind of throw a smoke screen. But after kind of hearing some other people's arguments, I could kind of see where Shelly is coming from. And, you know, if I'm Davon and if Shelly's really kind of bitching about getting this immunity or really wanting this immunity, I shouldn't say bitching, but, you know, this early, you really got to please your allies. And if your ally really wants that to kind of keep them strong and on your side, probably should just give them the immunity. My only fear that is, you know, if you grant the immunity to Shelly, then what's Audrey going to think? Does she now think that you're more closer to Shelly? Yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I'm not so much – I'm not completely on Davon's side, but I kind of have to lean towards her and think that she was being smarter about the situation. But it's tough.
After hearing that argument, that just like infuriated me a little bit with like, Shelly, the audacity of you giving me the ultimatum of my decision for my power. Why are you going to be selfishly wanting my power, my decision? And if you're going to give me ultimatums this early as an alliance member, week 1, then I don't want to work with you week 2. Like, come on. I'm feeling some sort of way. But I hear the argument, but that just made me like even more on Davon's side.
Well, I apologize for angering you. Okay, so let's get to the plan of the week. So essentially we have James and Jason basically have a meeting and kind of go through what they want to do. And you know what? This is why I don't like Battle of the Block, and I'm going to continue to not like Battle of the Block because the whole the twist. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. The whole enticement of the twist is like, just because you're HOH doesn't mean you're safe. But like 9 times out of 10, the 2 HOHs will always come together and go, hey, I won't take you out if you don't take me out. Let's come up with a plan together. And of course, it's week 1. But I don't know. What do you feel about this interaction and their overall plan to just kind of look each other's backs? Is this kind of what's to be expected, Keith, or do you think this is likely to change?
I think it's very appropriate for week 1 for the HOHs to work together. Like it happened last season with Frankie and Caleb, and they ended up being really close throughout the entire season. So I think this is just a Caleb-Frankie Alliance 2.0. I have the problem with the HOHs in week 2, week 3, week 4 doing the same thing. But week 1, I think it's completely fine. It makes complete sense. You both want HOH. You both don't want to go home. Throw them a bone. You know, like there's so many people to choose from to eliminate from this game. You could save one person.
Right. And so they basically talk it out and come to the conclusion that they really need to backdoor Jace. Was it a surprise to you to hear Jace be the big target, or were you kind of expecting someone else's name to get brought up?
No, it's pretty appropriate. Although he claims to be like socially like a god, that, you know, backfires when everybody notices that. So it's not really that surprising, and I'm certainly not mad about it. Also thought that because of just going back on the Battle of the Block being back, when you like, I don't know, the way that the twist makes it the way that it is. Like every week, someone gets backdoored. I don't understand how that. I'm just kept going back to how annoyed I am with the twist too. Like someone has to be backdoored every week because
there's too many chances to be saved. And then the immunity of surviving Battle of the Block, the opportunity for failing in Battle of the Block and competing in veto. Like, I saw a tweet from June Dishes, where she said, you know, I feel like the negative viewpoint of floaters, because the strategy worked, is going to be the same negative viewpoint for Battle of the Block and the concept of backdooring, because that's the only way to get rid of your target throughout the whole week. So now backdoor is going to be in the same group as floaters because it's going to have that negative viewpoint. It's effective, but it's frustrating to watch.
Exactly, and you see the same people get put up week after week after week as these pawns or these plans to throw things, and it's essentially kind of a rinse, wash, repeat every single week, which is kind of what we saw last season.
Right, rinse, wash, repeat, like the same 6 people being picked for Battle of the Block, and then the one person that gets evicted, and then the same 6 people, then the one person that gets evicted back for.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's just frustrating, and hopefully this kind of group goes in a different direction. But it's just, you know, you saw it work so flawlessly last season. You kind of would have to be dumb to not want to try and do something similar again.
I feel like the CBS was really, I don't know, with bringing Battle of the Block, and I don't know if they just ignore tweets and how we feel. But I feel like the one thing that they are like, we could have going for us is if enemies won HOH, because that's the only time that there's not, like, they might try to talk about it, about the nominations, but it won't actually happen. And then that's when you have the opportunity for the dethroned HOH to be like nominated again or whatever. But the odds of that happening, at least right now, in a couple of first weeks, I mean, there aren't that many enemies. I mean, I know people are stirring things up, but
we'll just have to see how it goes. So, but yeah, so they agree on their target, James, and essentially start going on, I guess, interviews to find out the perfect pawns for their plans.
Yeah, it was really awkward.
Yeah, it was incredibly awkward. I thought Jason handled it, you know, as well as he could in a situation like this, but James was just like, it's like, come on, James, just like, hey, so you look great in the bikini, but would you mind going on the block? And
not even just that. Like, you're safe. So
so hop on up. Yeah. So I'm gonna nominate you. See you later. Oh, I'm just gonna say that there's a plan and that's it. Bye. Oh, but you look really nice.
And sometimes when he was talking to people, I was like, yeah, that's how you tell them you're going on the block, but you're not the target. Like, sometimes I was like, James has got it this time. And then other times I'm like, why aren't you telling Becky that same thing? Why are you just...
Yeah, there was so many different reactions. There's so many different conversations that they were having. And we'll get to Becky here in a sec, but I want to talk about Jackie and I want to talk about Steve. Keith, what was your reaction to how Jackie basically took the news of being a pawn?
I actually don't remember.
She was like...
She was just okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she said, I'm okay. I'm not afraid to be a pawn. I was really impressed by it. I thought it was probably the best reaction out of anyone that they asked. What did you think, Aaron?
I was surprised, but I get it. Like, being the target that she is, if she can
be a team player.
If she can be a team player and, you know, make it through this nomination, then, like, people might think, you know what? You're not that bad, Jackie. We just don't like Jeff. Type deal.
What do you think is the strategy for kind of getting yourself out of a situation? Because I can understand why you would want to agree to it and kind of go along with it. But we saw Meg, you know, they asked Meg, and then Meg was just straight up, yeah, I don't really know. Like, I don't think I want to do it. And then she didn't get put on the block. So is there some merit into actually trying to show some resistance, or is it better to just kind of accept it and roll with it?
I don't think so. I think they decide who they want. They're going to tell you, you can have your reaction, but you're still going on the block.
Right.
I mean, I think the only time that could change is if they kind of detect you having like a meltdown and screwing up the plan by drawing attention to yourself and drawing yourself a target. I think that might be the only time where HOHs might like, you know what, let's not put this on the block. Right. It might go crazy.
And I'll be honest, I think part of it maybe has to do with the fact that James totally has a crush on Meg. So I think Meg being like, oh, I don't really want to be on the pawn or be a pawn. And he's like, okay.
My issue with how they went about it is I feel like they asked too many people to be the pawn. Because in week one, like, you really don't need to have that conversation with 6 people. Because as soon as you put that doubt, that sense of doubt in someone's mind that I could potentially be nominated and go home from you, then you're going to be on my radar if I were to have any form of power. So just tell the 4 people that y'all agree on that they're going to be put up. They don't even need to say it together. They could split up and do it solo messages so they don't seem like a unit.
Yeah.
But they both did it, had conversations with everybody together. And that's completely intimidating to have a conversation like that. Like with Steve, for example.
Yeah,
Steve,
that's what I want to talk about. Let's talk about that combo.
really, he was really not feeling the idea of being put on the block. And then James was like, well, you know, if you were in my position and you asked me to be the pawn, then I would be totally for it. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Like, just call it like you see it. Just don't, like, if you're going to nominate someone, don't ask if they're okay with it. Just say, hey, I think this is going to be the best move for me. I would like you to get the opportunity to compete not once, but twice for your safety. And you're not in my plans to be eliminated from the week. Sell it to them as opposed to be like, can you just do this? Like, do me a favor.
Yeah. Because no one's going to be like, oh, thank God. I was actually hoping that you were going to come to me.
I want to block this week.
Oh, boy. I hope he asked me if I want to be a pawn.
The first evicted? Me? Yes. I snapped. I did.
How did he know that I love Battle of the Block competitions? It's like, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that conversation with Steve was really confrontational in a way. And, you know, I felt really bad for Steve. But, you know, at a certain point, I was just like, honestly, Steve, body language says you're going up on the block no matter what at this point. So you might as well just kind of accept it. Do you think that Steve kind of resisted a little bit too much, Aaron?
I guess maybe a little. It's just verbiage, like the way that they were talking, it was just really awkward. I was just like, we could have just made this, like you said, you're going on the block, you're not the target, try to win Battle of the Block, try to win the POV, you're not the target, you're not going home, like, don't cry, gotta go. Like, it was just so long. It was just the longest conversation. It didn't need to be.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about Becky. So basically they promised Becky, you know, hey, as long as you vote with us, you're safe. Leave the combo. Nomination ceremony, she's on the block. What the hell happened? Like, they didn't have a problem telling all of the other people that they were going up. What went wrong with Becky? Why that inconsistency, Keith?
Well, Jason was confused if she was a lamp or a house guest, so he just nominated the furniture, being the true super fan that he is, knowing that Becky has no personality. But Becky should be thanking Jason for instilling that fire, that sense of purpose that she's in the house, because she had a fiery diary room for being nominated. She's like, oh, I have no problem going after Jason. I was like, okay, Becky, I see you. You're actually in this game.
Yeah, I was kind of like, go Becky. I thought she handled it really well. You know, she was emotional, but she, in her mind, she's like, I'm not gonna forget this. What do you think, Aaron?
I think she'll forget it.
I think we'll forget her.
But honestly, I just don't see her as. I mean, y'all are being like, yes, Becky, go.
Y'all or Jacob?
I mean, y'all.
Jacob.
You were saying nice things.
Sorry.
Rewind the tape.
The problem I had with her diary room is that I don't like revenge players. So just because Jason nominated you this week, you would say she does win HOH and she goes and nominates him, like, oh great, you nominated Jason. And even if he gets evicted, does that help your game? Like, that's what you really need to be worrying about. When you're standing next to the lamp and people don't know which one of you are the actual player, that's what you need. You need to be conversing with house guests.
Yeah.
Like, you need to work your game. You don't need to be getting revenge. You need to watch Jason and make sure that this doesn't happen again. Like, I get that, but like revenge nominations and stuff like that, that's so,
especially
season
week one,
season two. Like,
especially week one, because we saw in season 11 where Jesse nominated Shima and Lydia, and they became 2 of his closest allies for the rest of the game. So I agree. Week one, like, feelings of revenge are kind of really shallow. But what else does Becky have to go on? She doesn't have a personality.
But she doesn't have anything to talk about. I get it.
All right, that's fair. I think that's fair. That's
I don't
fair.
like Becky.
Wow.
Out of Big Brother Basics.
We'll see what happens, won't we? So let's talk about the Battle of the Block. So we've got Jackie and Steve versus Becky and John. What do you think about this competition? I thought it was a little complicated for the most part. Aaron?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out as it was going down, like, how they were going to be able to put the blocks down, because they weren't able to like touch that, so they had to just kind of drop it and hope it landed where they wanted to.
Right.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, some people have balance, some people don't. Not pointing any fingers, but it's a cute little competition. Week 1.
I thought it was hilarious because like there's that pole in the middle that like spun. People were trying to walk across the pole, and then it was spin halfway. I'm like, "What are you doing? You just need to get on and just stand there."
Stay
right.
But like Steve, he was like, "I'm trying to." Oh God! He would fall over.
Yeah, poor Steve. Steve was a total hot mess during this competition when he's like crawling around like a little mouse. I was just like, "Oh, Steve."
Can we also mention how he talked to Jackie when she was like, "Oh, we're gonna win this," and he was like, there's a difference between confidence and cockiness. I was like, what's wrong with you? She's trying to bring up the spirit here.
It was the best. It was the best
so
conversation.
Awkward. So awkward. He's going to have a hard time this season.
Do you think if he can survive the first few weeks, that he'll kind of get into the swing of things kind of like Ian did?
We'll see.
I don't think Ian was that bad.
I don't think he was that bad either. I mean, he was weird, but Steve is a party pooper.
Exactly.
Like he had that fun moment with like the space pants, but I just feel like he's just so awkward.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
His niche. He'll find something.
He'll crawl his way to the finish line.
Just stay with Liz. You're good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the perfect person to attach yourself to. So Becky and John are able to win the Battle of the Block and become safe for the week. We've got Steve and Jackie Noms. How do you feel about this, Keith? Do you think everything's set to go smoothly, or do you think the plan's likely to change?
I think everything is good. I do like that Jason gets to compete in the next HOH, and because he's safe this week. James is still the head of household, and I think that since James has like a vision in mind, he wants Jace gone. Like, I think that's great. Like give it to James. And thank goodness that Steve couldn't have any balance. And I also like that John and Becky have immunity. That's pretty cool.
I don't know. I don't know. Something about Jackie has really just opened my eyes to liking her. And so I was really torn because I like Jackie. I like John. I don't really care about Steve or Becky. So either way, I was like, I don't care which one of you are on the block. But for those two, I was like, I want something. I don't know. I just wish the partners were switched. But good for John. Go clean your teeth.
I love how obvious that it was that there were just like 4 pawns, like even with the speeches and like the fact that they asked like half the house if they wanted to be pawns. And yet we get that perfect diary room after the nomination ceremony with Jace, where she's like, yeah, I'm not really worried about like this week with the noms. I'm totally good. Like, is this guy really as clueless as he sounds?
So beautiful.
It's hilarious. I mean, I cringed a little bit at James's little speech. Like, I know you guys can win. Like, really? Because we didn't do so hot in the HOH competition. But if you believe in us, thanks. Like,
yeah. Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it.
The problem that I had with last season, a lot of people weren't thinking like that. It should be obvious that something's going down because I mean, those aren't the people that can win competitions. So, whatever, Jace, go home.
Well, it should be a really interesting situation. I'm really excited for the POV episode on Wednesday. It should be really entertaining. We'll see if this backdoor plan goes into full effect. Make sure that you catch Wednesday's episode. Make sure that you sign on to Twitter during the episode while we will be live tweeting. Follow us at Jacob Harple, at Most Humble, at Sarcastivities. Like us on Facebook at BBBasics, and subscribe to our YouTube channel under the same name. Guys, any last minute thoughts about the episode? Anything else you guys want to go over?
I looked at our Twitter questions and we covered it throughout the episode, so we're good to go.
Good to go. So remember, watch Big Brother 17 this Wednesday and stay basic.
Stay basic.
Basic.
Bye. Basic.